Welcome to Art of Life. Life is an art, and it's up to us to see the big picture. And that's what we're doing. We're looking at the big picture. That's the main thing. Um, to be able to look at the big picture, not just miss the forest for the trees right in your face. A lot of times we're looking at the details of things, and we should be looking at the big picture. Let's get right into it. Um, Sebastian Telfair was taken into jail. He had a court hearing Monday this week, which was I believe was the 11th um, or 12th, but August 11th or 12th. But the thing about it, he was arrested for gun charges. You know, having a gun, and uh, the police saw him. It says that he did a U-turn on the median. So I think his truck. I think it's trying to say in the write up in the article that his truck swerved onto the median and his lights were off early that morning. Meaning, I guess it was probably about 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning. And then he had a bunch of guns in Yonkers, New York. Now we know in New York, guns are not allowed. I mean, it's just we all know that. I mean, people in the I live down south, and everybody knows that. So Sebastian, growing up in New York, being 34 years old, I'm sure you know the laws there that you can't have guns like that in New York. That's why they have blades. They carry blades, knives, and things like that in New York. So first off, it's basically seeing the fact that you grew up there. You know the laws there, and as a young man, as a young black man, the law is looking at you a certain way, and you're suspicious about not having your lights on. I don't know if you were. I mean, under the influence of something. I'm sure somebody may have thought you were. One of the officers may have thought you were since your lights was off at night. Um, then again, sometimes things happen, but at night and your lights being off, it's you should know your lights are not on at night. They may have thought you was under the influence. And then, Sebastian was saying that in court that he felt like they set him up with the having the weed, having the marijuana. He felt like the police set him up and put that and planted that on him. Uh, but looking at the big picture, you know the laws, Sebastian. You know, he was saying in court that he don't go to clubs in New York, and he hardly comes to New York, but his family is there. Um, but you know the laws. And not to mention that you've been in trouble twice before and haven't been jailed for the same crime, um, for the same situation. He had a gun in 2006, and that was found in the plane, and he was fined for it by his team. NBA, he's an NBA player. Went to the NBA straight from high school. I don't know if I added that, but you were fined, and the law wasn't pressed. The law didn't press you back in 2006. Then again in 2007, the law did catch you with guns, and you got in New York, and you got another charge. That was they let you off for probation for 3 years. There comes a time when you're accountable for what you're doing. That's three strikes. That's three strikes. The same thing, the same situation, the same violation with guns. Um, if you're living that life where you need guns, why live it? Why live it? Um, you've made a lot of money in the NBA. Maybe you didn't invest, maybe you didn't. Your finances aren't where they're supposed to be. But he did talk about donating 50,000 um, to a park to keep a park going for the kids in New York. Um, the thing about it, if you need those types of guns, why? And then you had a submachine gun like war guns. I saw a picture of the guns online, uh, lethal war guns, machine guns. Uh, there's no excuse after three times. After two times being caught and this being your third, you knew that. You knew the laws. Um, and it's like we're overlooking the warnings. That's why I want to talk to young men, especially young black men. Don't overlook the warnings life give you. Life give you warnings, and life gives you uh, insight from the outside. You get feelings, you get intuition about things. You feel it. You get in touch with your intuition as young men because when life starts to show you stuff on the outside, it's for you to change the inside. It's for you to address it, analyze it, and say, why does this keep happening to me? Sebastian has gone through this twice before and was let out fairly easily for the charge, for the violation. So it's about learning, especially as young black men. That I mean, we already know that the society looks at young black men a certain way, and then I will say he fed into the stereotype. The stereotype in the courtroom, he screamed out. He got aggressive, trying to defend himself. He got cocky with how he paid for this and paid for that. The way he was talking, not what he said, but the way he was talking came off cocky. And those are stereotypes that you're feeding into, stereotypes of young black men that you're feeding into. So you're strengthening those stereotypes, which is uh, aggressiveness, anger, um, cockiness. And you fed into all three with your outbursts in court. Now I'm not sure if they were outbursts. Maybe they gave you looks like they gave you way to talk. They gave you permission to talk, but the way you were talking was very aggressive and cocky, and it's almost like you were talking down on psychological issues that your wife had or the young lady that you were speaking of had, and then you did correct yourself, but you came off cocky even after that, and then your auntie tried to calm you down. One of the women you were with tried to calm you down, and then you say, "No, no, no, aunt, no. I did a lot for my community." Um, Aggressively, cocky, in a cocky manner. They're looking for us to do that. They're looking for young black men to do that. And you have to, as a young black man, do not feed into the stereotypes. You could have presented yourself professionally, um, and it really wouldn't matter anyway. I don't think, however you presented yourself, but it wouldn't have mattered in your hearing, in the judgment. But at least you would not have fed into that stereotype if you had presented yourself more professionally, more having more uh, diplomatic mannerisms. So let's look at the big picture with this thing. You've been charged twice, not necessarily charged twice. You've been caught with guns twice. Uh, 12 years ago, 13 years ago, and it's 2019, and this is the last one, and you get 3 years. It's time for us to wake up. When life is showing us things, let's open our eyes and listen. Open our eyes and see. Open our ears and listen, and let's analyze those things. Um, why do you need those guns? What type of life are you living? Now, I do understand we all should have protection, but machine guns. And if it's legal, okay, machine gun, carry the machine gun. But knowing that, it it makes me wonder why you need them. It makes me wonder why is there a certain life you're living? We know you came from the streets. We know you came from the New York streets. We know you came from um, I'd say more rural areas. I'm sorry, urban areas. So we know we can anticipate the type of things you grew up around, type of people you grew up around. Uh, so you should walk away from that. Stay as far away from that as you can. Why carry? Why have to live a life where you need those types of weapons and then come to New York with them? It's, and so my thing is, let's look at life. Let's analyze it. Let's analyze the things where we get warnings. There's always a warning. There's always signs. Even when you're dealing with a dangerous person or an aggressive mate, there are signs. It's time for us to pay attention to those signs as young men, as young black women also. Um, that's what life is about: analyzing, evolving, and growing. So when we see those signs, let's pay attention. Let's pay attention. Um, that's the way life teaches us. That's the way we grow. And if we stop paying attention, and if we don't analyze these things, life is going to give us more problems so that we can analyze ourselves. That's see, that comes from studying life. That comes from studying and searching for answers. That comes from us having a spiritual um, process, a search for answers. Um, that's what life is about. Life is going to show you things. It's going to give you things that we call problems so that you can analyze yourself and grow within. And if you don't analyze yourself, life is going to give you problems to analyze. So that's what the problems are about. That's what the warnings are about in life. That's what those first charges you got were. Not both of them were charges, but the first one was a actually violation of the league policy. You had a gun in a pillowcase on the plane in 2006. And in 2007, you got pulled over for a gun. Life is showing us things. Let's pay attention. Let's evaluate. Um, we're young black men. We're young black women. There's stereotypes. We should not feed into them. We should not feed into them. We know the stereotypes for young black women are also aggressive, also loud, also uh, attitude or nasty attitude. We know that. Why feed into that? Why feed into what people expect you to do? Why feed into what people expect you, um, the disrespect people expect you to show, even when um, we're at the job giving customer service to people? We shouldn't feed into stereotypes. No ethnic group, no nationality or ethnic group should feed into their stereotypes because that strengthens people's prejudice, meaning prejudging you. It strengthens that, and you're making it worse for people coming up behind you, people who look like you. Do you ever stop to think of that? So, Sebastian, you had your warnings, you had your wake up calls, and you weren't paying them attention enough to disregard that life, to to discard that life, to step away from those things. Have your guns if it's legal. But you know the laws in New York, and I don't understand why. And then he did mention, I did hear somebody mention that he didn't know that the guns were in the car. He felt like one of his helpers or somebody who packed his stuff put the guns in there, and he wasn't aware. I heard that somewhere. I don't remember what blog it was, but could have been, very well could have been. But we have to. This is just a teaching moment for us. We have to analyze life and grow, grow. Look at the signs, and let's pay attention. And let's grow from those things that we shouldn't make the same mistakes over. Sebastian made the same mistake 3 times. He got um, sturdy warnings and kept going this way. But this is something for us all to grow from. For us all to grow from. So let's do better. Let's look at these things and grow. Let's pay attention to the signs. Let's pay attention to the warnings because life is going to warn you. And that's what this channel is about, paying attention to life and growing and making sure that we see the things that we should see, making sure that we analyze the things we should analyze and grow from it. Art of life.